Welcome back to One Crack News. Dave Chappelle went Dave Chappelle after he was very livid how even Netflix had put up the Chappelle Show. HBO Max and Netflix was streaming the Chappelle Show. But Dave Chappelle wasn't getting paid for it. Ain't that something? He created the show. He's basically the engine of the show. But there's nothing like he could do about it. So Chappelle spoke about it. He kind of hinted to it in Saturday Night Live. But now, let's see what Dave had to say about it.
This is their first nigga lesson, and I'm honored to give it to them. They're gonna pay me for this show. I called my agent. I said, is there anything I can do about this show? And he said, no. Well, fuck you too then. If you want something done right, I guess you gotta do it yourself. So I'm not going to the agents. I'm coming to my real boss. I'm coming to you. I'm begging you. If you ever liked me, if you ever think there was anything worthwhile about me, I'm begging you. Please don't watch that show. I'm not asking you to boycott any network. Boycott me. Boycott Chappelle Show. Do not watch it unless they pay me.
So, that was Dave's stance. Do not stream the Chappelle Show, even though it's on HBO Max. Netflix decided to take down the Chappelle Show. One, because they have a contract with Dave Chappelle. And they would like Dave Chappelle to continue to make specials on Netflix. So, to keep Dave happy, because Sticks and Stones was such a smash hit for them, Dave said, you know what, we're going to take it down. Because Dave don't think it's fair that he shouldn't get paid. Now, here's the situation. Why wasn't Dave getting paid? It's because Dave walked away from his deal. Viacom CBS did not pay him for his licensing of his own show. Now, can we be upset at Dave for doing this? No, but CBS Viacom did this deal with Netflix. And Dave is not happy because Dave isn't getting that money. I mean, not one red cent. And it's his work. But is this bad business by Dave? Should the American people who love to watch the Chappelle Show feel like, hey, you know, Dave, I would ride with you, but it's not my fault you did a bad business deal. It's not my fault you decided to walk off your show. The network owns the product. You walked away from it. It was theirs to distribute. So, I don't really know here. Being a businessman myself, I can understand both sides. It's not like, hey, we stiffed Dave Chappelle out of his show. Dave was offered good money for his show. It wasn't like they said financially, we're going to cut you off at the knees, Dave. Dave's decision that he made, not only did it collide with his own point of view, it collided with everybody he knew. His decisions that he made collided with even his own people and his own team. His long-time, lifelong buddy, Paul, was confused about what Dave was doing. Then he gets up and goes to Africa. And they like, look, we don't care about your Euro problems. We got Bill Gates over here trying to stick us with stuff. We don't know what's in that. Now, here's the news. Because we love Dave Chappelle. Now, all Dave's new work, no problem. But I don't feel Dave had the right to tell the general public, don't go watch it until they pay me. Where were they obligated to pay you at? At what part? Because it sounds like to me you violated the contract that you signed. See, Dave don't feel it's right, even though he signed Dave Chappelle on the damn contract. So you want to sign the contract, not like it, and go against it and try to get money too, as if someone did you wrong. Very interesting world. What did he say? Dave Viacom didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never have to tell me. Perfectly legal. Because I signed the contract. But is that right? I didn't think so either. That's why I like working for Netflix. I like working for Netflix because when all of those bad things happened to me, that company didn't even exist. And when I found out they were streaming Chappelle Show, I was furious. How could they not? How could they not know? So you know what I did? I called them and told them that how this made me feel bad. And you want to know what they did? They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. Now, if you want to know some more powerful things about it, definitely look up the Casino for Life Patreon because there is something very explosive in there involving Viacom, CBS, and a lot of other networks. Very powerful information. Now, Chappelle Show is still available on Viacom CBS brands like HBO Max. And they ain't taking it down ever. Now, right after the election, he called him out. But the main problem is this. Dave Chappelle, very educated man, made a very dumb business decision, but he wanted out. He wanted freedom. He signed away on that dotted line, and he signed away all ownership basically to the Chappelle Show. They own it. That settled any lawsuits and damages that you have caused that whole network. And the realities of it was Dave could not manage dealing with a television show. It's the same problem Richard Pryor had. Well, Richard Pryor had problems with drugs. But but he couldn't manage with the day-to-day pressures of, I gotta create something new. Oh, you gotta be better than what you did last season. That kind of pressure was too much for Dave. It was ultimately stressing him out. And he just started looking for ways to get out. All he needed was the push. And he knew the right buttons to press. So he alludes to something happening that really made him want to leave. As he was being set up for something. Something greater was going to happen. He kind of alluded to what happened. Because legally, when he signed the paperwork, he can't really talk about what happened with Comedy Central. And he can't really speak bad on the company like that. He signed on the dotted line. So they're never going to pay Dave Chappelle. Never. It would take a lot for CBS, Viacom to come to that type of epiphany to do what's right. I mean, do we feel Dave should be paid? Of course Dave should be paid. But Dave signed the contract. Like, did he sign it under duress? He never filed anything saying I signed this under duress. I didn't know what I was doing when I was signing. I wasn't in my right state of mind. No, you signed it. Now you in this jam. Now you got to figure your way out of the figure four leg lie. And this is why on One Crack News we try to tell you guys about business. These are the reasons. Because this situation should have never happened. I gotta take this call. I'm out.